There is a sacredness in tears. They are the messengers of overwhelming grief, of deep contrition and of unspeakable love. Great minds have purpose, others have wishes. Little minds are tamed and subdued by misfortunes, but great minds rise above them. I profess not to know how women's hearts are wooed and won. To me they have always been matters of riddle and admiration. Love is never lost. If not reciprocated, it will flow back and soften and purify the heart. Others may write from the head, but he writes from the heart, and the heart will always understand him. Sweet is the memory of distant friends. Like the mellow rays of the departing sun, it falls tenderly, yet sadly, on the heart. A tart temper never mellows with age, and a sharp tongue is the only edged tool that grows keener with constant use. A kind heart is a fountain of gladness, making everything in its vicinity freshen into smiles. To look upon its grass-grown yard, where the sunbeams seem to sleep so quietly, one would think that there at least the dead might rest in peace. And if unhappy in her love, her heart is like some fortress that has been captured, and sacked, and abandoned, and left desolate. The tie which links mother and child is of such pure and immaculate strength as to be never violated. There is nothing like the silence and loneliness of night to bring dark shadows over the brightest mind. Perhaps there never was a monument more characteristic of an age and people than the Alhambra, a rugged fortress without, a voluptuous palace within, war frowning from its battlements, poetry breathing throughout the fairy architecture of its halls. They are given to all kinds of marvelous beliefs, are subject to trances and visions, and frequently see strange sights, and hear music and voices in the air. If ever I should wish for a retreat whither I might steal from the world and its distractions, and dream quietly away the remnant of a troubled life, I know of none more promising than this little valley. He is indeed the true enchanter, whose spell operates, not upon the senses, but upon the imagination and the heart. There is nothing in this world so hard to get at as truth, and there is nothing in this world but truth that I care for. The land of literature is a fairyland to those who view it at a distance, but, like all other landscapes, the charm fades on a nearer approach, and the thorns and briars become visible. It is almost startling to hear this warning of departed time sounding among the tombs, and telling the lapse of the hour, which, like a billow, has rolled us onward towards the grave. It has also been the peculiar lot of our country to be visited by the worst kind of English travelers. A sharp tongue is the only edged tool that grows keener with constant use. There is a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness but of power. They are messengers of overwhelming grief and unspeakable love. My object is merely to give the reader a general introduction into an abode where, if so disposed, he may linger and loiter with me day by day until we gradually become familiar with all its localities. If ever I should wish for a retreat, whither I might steal from the world and its distractions, and dream quietly away the remnant of a troubled life, I know of none more promising than this little valley. It could not be denied, however, that he set a high value upon justice, for he sold it at its weight in gold. He was himself a great reader of old legends and romances, and often lamented that he could not believe in them, for a superstitious person, he thought, must live in a kind of fairyland. One of the greatest and simplest tools for learning more and growing is doing more. No importa quan despierto esito, una vez te adentras en las sombras de esta región no puedes permanecer ajeno a su influjo, la ensonación mágica de su atmósfera se apodera de ti al instante. Whenever a man's friends begin to compliment him about looking young, he may be sure that they think he is growing old. Surely happiness is reflective, like the light of heaven, and every countenance, bright with smiles, and glowing with innocent enjoyment, is a mirror transmitting to others the rays of a supreme and ever-shining benevolence. Knowledge is power, and truth is knowledge. Whoever, therefore, knowingly propagates a prejudice, willfully saps the foundation of his country's strength. Men are always doomed to be duped, not so much by the arts of the sex, as by their own imaginations. They are always wooing goddesses, and marrying mere mortals. Somehow or other, there is a genial sunshine about you that warms every creeping thing into heart and confidence. Who can tell, when he sets forth to wander, whither he may be driven by the uncertain currents of existence, or when he may return, or whether it may ever be his lot to revisit the scenes of his childhood. There is no situation in life but has its advantages and pleasures, provided we will but take a joke as we find it. Whenever a man's friends begin to compliment him about looking young, he may be sure that they think he is growing old.